many phone mounts on the market, and for the 991, the 9A1, and the 718, there's a few to choose from, but today I want to tell you about one that I think is a little more remarkable. Let me take you back a couple of months. I showed you a new product from Anima Motorsports. They made this ball mount for your Garmin Catalyst, keeping the Catalyst off your windshield, no suction cups, and keeping it within reach but also within glancing distance, all without blocking your view of the track so you can drive better. I love that mount. Those were made by the father-son duo at Anima Motorsports. There's Anson, the engineer, and Philip, the CNC magician, I call him. They make incredible precision aluminum parts. Well, now you can use that same Garmin Catalyst mount with your phone because they've developed this beautifully designed and machined arm that isn't all big and bulky like the ones you get with the Garmin and the big knob on it. This is slick and it deserves to be in a Porsche. That plus this magnetic mount, your phone clicks right in place and it stays there. I also like that it's not like some of the other phone mounts where it's down here and you have to look down. I mean, the purpose of having a phone up here is often to have maps, and if you don't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, like a lot of the 991s, 981s, and some 718s, you're gonna want your maps within easy glancing range, but not up in the windshield blocking your view, and this is here. Now I have Apple CarPlay, and so I put my maps on the screen, but still, it's handy to have your phone here. It's a good place to store it instead of maybe, you know, in the storage compartment or something. By the way, if you don't have a Garmin Catalyst to make this thing do double duty, remember that most lap timers are on our phones now, including the Porsche Track Precision app. I love using that because it collects all the data from the car, but I've also used Dragy's lap timer. Yeah, Draggy, the straight line app, they've got a lap timer. It's pretty good. You should check it out. And you can have it here, you can turn it sideways, whatever you need to do, and you can get that lap timer function, easily glance at the progress for your laps. I think this is gonna work perfect for that. Remember, Anson and Philip are Porsche enthusiasts, and they've got something very special coming out that you're gonna love as a Porsche owner. In pre-production right now are these awesome magnetic mounts that are replicas of Porsche GT wheels. Just look at the detail on these. They are beautiful. They're probably going to come in different colors as well as a carbon fiber ring on them. And instead of having this mount, you would have that Porsche wheel. And I think it's a great little Easter egg to have in your car. By the way, if you have an Android phone, Anson and Philip have thought about you. You will get a backing plate to come with to stick on your phone so you can use this too. And they actually thought of other people, like those of you in the UK and Australia and other countries where you drive on the right side. They have a ball mount that goes on the left side of the PCM screen, so this can be positioned properly for you right-hand side drivers. I love that they thought of everybody. By the way, if you already have a phone mounted charger that uses a ball mount, it's probably smaller than this. It's 17 millimeters, and in that case, Anima Motorsports has you covered. They do sell a 17 millimeter mount. Now, before I show you how easy this is to install, I know that some of you like to have charging capability and a mag mount. Well, thankfully, Anima Motorsports has got you covered there. They are a vendor for Peak Design. If you haven't heard of Peak Design, they do quality work with different mounts and organizational stuff. All the photographers and videographers know about Peak Design because it is the stuff. So Anima Motorsports sells magnetic charging modules, so you can stick it right on here instead of this magnetic one and be charged at the same time, because when you're running maps, you're using the battery, right? All right, the install takes like 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna rewind the footage from the Garmin video showing you how to install the ball mount. It's pretty easy, just remove a little bit of trim and 2 screws. And then I'm gonna show you how to put on the arm and the magnetic mount so you can use your phone too.
This installation is pretty easy. You just need a trim tool and a T25 Torx. You can use a plastic trim tool, or I really like to use this metal skin tool, it's called. It's thinner, it gets into tighter spaces, and it's stronger. Use a Torx bit on a driver like this, or if you decide to use a power tool like me, make sure you're really careful. You don't want to strip out any threads or accidentally slip and stab your PCM or something, so please use care. As shown in the Anima Motorsports instructions, they do suggest putting masking tape on your trim. This is especially important for the painted or carbon fiber trim. I have the aluminum. You'll see me skip this step, but I'm pretty comfortable doing this. The first step is prying off this piece of trim. You'll want to use your trim tool and pry about in these locations I show you. It's always good to pry near the clips, but not on the clips themselves. Don't be shy, it takes a little bit of force to pop them out of the clips. Once you get to the end here, you need to pull the trim rearward and slightly towards the passenger seat, and that is going to slide out. This little piece of plastic does tend to fall off. You just put it back into place before replacing your trim. On the back of the trim panel, you see all these little plastic barbs. All those go into the metal clips on the center console. And then up here, there's a straight pin that goes straight next to the PCM. There's a hook-shaped item here, and this goes into that little hole, and that's why you have to pull backwards and slightly out. The next step anybody can do, just use a T25 Torx bit to remove these two screws on the right side of the PCM. Now place your new ball mount in position over those two screw holes and reinstall the screws. I highly suggest reinstalling the screws by hand at first. If you want to use a power tool to get them in there, that's fine, but make sure they are snug. Don't over tighten them, but they can come loose over time, so make sure they're snug. Now we'll put this trim piece back in. We're going to make sure we align all those plastic bits. Make sure your plastic barbs are not bent or flexed. They need to be lined up with all the relevant holes before you try to tap the trim into place. When it looks good, go ahead and give it a firm tap with the palm of your hand, and that's it. You've got the base ball mount installed. With the base installed, we can now add the cell phone mounting components. We got the magnetic part and the ultra slim connecting arm. This is just two pieces with a spring and a screw in between. Use your T25 included key to loosen it up so it's big enough to get around each of the balls. Then use the key to tighten it up. You could of course use the same Torx driver you used to install the base mount. Once it's mostly tight, position the mount however you like and test the fit with your phone. Once you find a spot you really like, snug it down nice and tight so it doesn't go anywhere. And when you go back to the track and you want to use your Garmin Catalyst, remember you actually don't have to use Garmin's connecting arms. You can use Anima Motorsports Ultra Slim connecting arm. With the T25 Torx screw tightened down, your Garmin Catalyst isn't going anywhere.
All right, folks, that's it for what I consider the best phone mount for your 991, your 981, and 718 Porsches. I love where this sits, how sturdy it is, how well it's designed, and that it's made by the hands of true Porsche enthusiasts. Now, if you want to get the best price on this, you want to use the coupon code JETFUEL10 for a limited time to get 10% off your order at animamotorsports.com. Be sure to check out their other items. Remember, there's going to be new wind diffusers coming out for the 991 and 992, and they got some other cool stuff from Designs by Jacob and all that Peak Design phone stuff as well. Be sure to check it out. All right, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and hit the bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks so much for watching the Jet Fuel Only channel. We'll see you next time.